It's time to welcome another star guest, and tonight I am very chuffed to have with us in the studio British soul funk star Leee John, who enjoyed 3 classic top 10s back in the 80s with Body Talk, Just an Illusion, Music and Lights. Loved that one.
Sing them
Such
for me.
fond... I won't sing, please. I don't want to ruin people's Friday night, Lee. Hang on. Such fond memories of endless Top of the Pops performances, some groovy dances, and actually one of the first proper stars I ever got to interview when I was just starting out in local radio in the Midlands. Lee, welcome to GB News. Before we start, a quick question.
Tell me.
Is this truth or is this just one of those Wikipedia made-up things? Okay. The band name Imagination.
Yeah, John Lennon.
It was a tribute to... It was true?
Yeah,
Tribute to John Lennon.
we were looking... Steve Walsh, who was one of the top DJs who supported Imagination, he was in the office with our A&R guy, Morgan Khan, who actually signed me. And we were trying to find a name, and at that time, Imagine was #1. And it was something he said something like, you know, the nations and stuff like that. And the record came on, and it was like all of a sudden we said, why not Imagination? And that was it. And so we said, I hope a bit of the essence of the Beatles and John Lennon will come into our careers. That was that kind of thing, you know, mysticism. But yeah, it's very true.
OK. Well, very lovely. I mean, the music completely different, clearly.
Of course.
Obviously, 1980, sadly, wasn't it? So it was just before.
Well, Body Talk was recorded in the winter of 1980 and then released in 1981.
OK.
You know, when on all the club scenes, and we were a really what they call urban now, a club act.
Yeah.
You know, very, very much a part of the DJ. The DJs have always been a part of the culture of me anyway, in the group. And that's how we came through. We came through, like how today with all the kids, we were part of that culture, the whole Brit funk movement. That's how Body Talk, you know, it was on every single chart before it even got into the national charts. So we had quite a build-up towards it. It wasn't like Top of the Pops.
Yeah, and it was actually, you know, we'd had always had some great British soul. I was thinking like the Wheel thing that people always think were American, but they came from Liverpool, right, just a few years before you, right? And then when you guys, I mean, the 80s is one of those decades that people still say the greatest musical decade ever. It has such fond memories for so many people. Things changed in the 80s, and some brilliant pop, some great dance, all kinds of great songs.
Well, it was a big era of everything. I mean, prior to us, you mentioned The Real Thing, but for me, I remember a group like Candidate, High Tension, who broke it through, The Light of the World, Central Line. I knew all these guys. Then Lynx, I went to see Lynx of David Grant at the Dominion Theatre. Junior Giscombe was part of Lynx at the time, and we're all still great friends now. So it was wonderful seeing all of this music coming from UK. And also from North London as well, because any time Light of the World was playing, I'd go to their gigs, or Lynx, or whatever. You know, we supported each other. But the sad thing was, I was in a group, and I was thinking, oh, my God, when is my turn? Where's my turn? And I was the last one. You know, there's another group called Candidate, who, incidentally, are supporting us May the 20th at the Shepherd's Bush Empire. Got to get that in. Come and see us then.
Okay.
But Central Line were like, they were in the R&B charts before we were in the R&B charts in America. And so it was great seeing all of this homegrown, we're now called heritage artists, but they were all from areas I knew, and we all went to the same clubs and all that kind of stuff. So it was great. And then by the time we broke, I had kind of studied everyone. I'd studied everything. I'd studied the American artists. So I thought, you know what, we need to sustain. We need to know how to, you know, because the industry was not really supportive of black British artists. And the truth of the matter is, when Imagination broke internationally, then the A&R guys started to say, you know what, we can invest in black British artists. They weren't before.
Okay.
Before Imagination, they weren't. Many A&R guys have told me this.
Wow.
And that people don't realise. They started having black female artists. They took 5-star, and you know, they didn't invest. But they saw us on an international level that we were earning money, and it was consistent, and we were having a lot of hits. Our albums were bigger than the singles globally. So the fact is, the record companies took that chance, you know, and henceforth, I can plug again.
It is amazing, actually. 40 years.
40 years.
That kind of age is all of us. You know, I remember
coming out
still
next
being
Friday.
at uni and
coming out next Friday, February the 10th. Yeah, 17 albums.
Wow.
It's a wonderful buy. It's a wonderful buy.
See, I'm quite gobsmacked now. You made 17 albums.
17 albums.
That's incredible.
And it's really got some great stuff. But it's also got some original things on there, like some of the songs we did, like So Good, So Right, or Music and Lights. There are different versions on there.
Okay.
But different songs. because we changed them as we went along. In the Heat of the Night, there's a wonderful version, which I loved, and we never put it on any album, so that's on there. Right. And we've got some live performances that we did all around the world, like a 30-minute version of Body Talk, which is great.
30 or 30?
30 minutes of Body Talk. So there's some wonderful things on there. And I have my jazz album on there. So there's a lot of different music that I think, it's not the ordinary box set where they do the 12-inch and the 7-inch, 12-inch. This is really inviting you to a beautiful world of music. So next Friday, the 10th, you can purchase it. But no, it's been wonderful for
Lee,
me.
Look, 40 years is amazing. Look, you talked about A&R men and you know, how the record industry and... it's changed so much in 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? The technology has changed a lot of things. The technology and streaming platforms changed how record companies, they don't ever... At the moment, and I was talking to a British exec who had moved to America and was just getting so sick of the whole thing, going, people don't invest in A&R.
No.
If you don't know, A&R is for artist and repertoire. They're people that used to... You get demo tapes coming in, you'd send your demo tape into a record company or record label and they'd listen to it and think, are they any good? I might send a scout out to have a look at you in concert. That doesn't really happen anymore. What they do is they look at your social media, they look at your TikTok and they see how many people like you or are following you. It's lazy A&R now. Are you happy you were around at the time you were, or are you slightly jealous of the way things are now, or do you not have a view on it?
I'm so glad I was in the era I was, because I worked in bingo halls, in pubs. I learnt my craft. I was in Anna Shear's acting school for a while. I was doing background vocals, all before imagination broke. So I had a long period of years of just learning my craft, learning harmonies, learning how to deal with audience. The bingo halls were the greatest audiences because it was like, they were the old theatres and they'd sometimes have 2,000 people in them. And so I'd be doing 3 or 4 sets. I was with a group called the Sun Valley Serenaders, and they'd do steel bands, calypso, reggae, funk, everything. And I'd be up there doing my bit with them. And it was fantastic. And it was a great learning ground. So by the time Imagination appeared on Top of the Pops, and we did the Dominion Theatre, 8 shows, 7 nights at the Dominion Theatre, we were ready. Yeah. Because we had really got ourselves crafted. And then we started to go international, performing to, in Canada and America and in the Far East. It was an awful lot of costume changes, I will say that. But it was wonderful because we met different audiences, and I still do to today. But the difference is you don't have some of those platforms anymore because it's all very tap, 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 da-da-da-da, tap, tap, tap. Some of the good things are that I can communicate with other artists to work with them quite easily now, in a sense. And I'm doing that with the Brazilian artist, Jorge Vecilo. We've got a single together coming out in March, and he's singing in Brazilian and I'm singing in English, and it's called Solitude. And it was great because we were doing it during the lockdown period, and he was there, I was here. So you can have those wonderful communications in creating. But there are some essences that I love performing live, and I think sometimes you can get a bit disappointed when you see, especially in some of the reality shows, you see people winning or they're there for 2 minutes on TV, but will you see them on stage for a whole hour? Will you digest a whole show for a whole hour, It's very much a production line. It has been that. I suppose. I like the rawness. I really do. I like to go. I'm from the vaudeville, old school days. Get out there and suck it to them, A couple of big stories that have been around this week, actually. So one, a guy with an amazing voice called Sam Smith. He's causing a bit of outrage with his video. After having seen the video, it's not particularly outrageous. In fact, my daughter's got a take on this. She goes, the thing is, it's because he's a slightly larger guy. If he wasn't a larger guy, no one would really care. If Harry Styles was dressed up as a woman, as he has been many times, or in female attire, no one would really be commenting on this. Music's always tried to shock in a way. It's always tried to break barriers and push things. Anything wrong with Sam Smith? That's the first time I've been silent in years, believe me. Say, wow, let's note this one down. John stuck for words. Right, go on. No, when we came on the scene, especially with Body Talk, I was playing being sexy. I didn't really know what sexy was. It's just like play to the camera and we had our outfits and stuff. And it was fun. Yes, a big person wearing certain things can look a certain way. I know some of my big friends, good friends, who are big, but look, you know, funky and sexy, and they can work it. But I don't know, something's not right in how he's doing it. I mean, I'm glad he's doing what he's doing, but something, it's how whoever's dressing him or whoever's designing what he's doing, I don't think it's actually right. How it can be done, but something's not right. It's looking a little bit, for me personally, and I'm not offending any Sam Smith fans. Something's not right in the design of it. Because you can slightly laugh at it and you don't want to do it. You know,
but it's subjective, like all these
things.
Of course
it is.
You know.
I mean, it's great he's gone to the edge. I love that. He's doing what he wants to do and get away with it and what have you. You know, all of that. But it's his thing. He wants to do that. So what can I say? Okay. You know, everybody's got their thing that they want to do. But I just think artistically, at this point in his career, I wouldn't think he needs to do that, really.
Okay. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
40 years, the plug. I saved you doing it. Next Friday, by the way, it's next Friday, 40 years.
40 years, and don't forget...
Shepherd's Bush Empire.
May the 20th. May the 20th. Come and get your tickets, and there's going to be some special surprises, special guests. And it's been a great 40 years. And I can tell you, if it wasn't for the fan base, I wouldn't be here.
OK. Leee John, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.